What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing this evening? Kind of late notice on this one. I started feeling better as the day went on, and I got a few things done, and I decided maybe I'll make something for HotMakes instead of doing a particular tutorial on any one process. But what I hope to do is a tutorial on the rotary and the rotary jigs that I have there. So I've set up to do it, but I didn't get it done yesterday. But today I have designed a coin that I'm going to 3D engrave, and hopefully it will be shown on HotMakes, which is on the Edge of Tech on their live stream. They should be starting soon because they are scheduled for 7 p.m. But I designed a coin. I'm going to 3D engrave it, and that'll be it. I'll be monitoring the comments, but mostly the camera's going to be on the coin, so we'll just sit here for a little bit, watch it engrave, and I'll watch the comments, and we can talk. So let me get this coin. I'm not going to show it off yet. I'm not going to show it off until actually, I'm not going to show the graphic at all. You're not going to see it until it's done. So you're going to have to stick around to see how it turns out. Well, the first thing I need to do is I want to run more passes than that. So get out my calculator. I'm running a brass coin. I'm going to be using the 120-watt fiber laser. And I want this to be a deep engraving. So I'm going to run it 384 passes. The flicker will go away as soon as I get LightBurn taken care of. I'm going to run through and say hi to everybody after I get this coin started. And here is the coin. I just did an RFID, a brass wallet a little bit ago. It's not ready for prime time. I want to either hit it with some steel wool or wet tumble it. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go. I'm going to do something to finish it up. But that was the outline of the wallet that was left over for my 3D engraving. Actually, I can show it to you if you want to see it. This is actually going to be an episode, so you get a little teaser. That is a 3D slice, wavy flag, don't tread on me, for a brass RFID wallet. And the reason I had this spillover around the edges, is I'm going to explain this in my video, I didn't want any sharp edges, because as you're taking material away, even around these screws, that is, you can barely see that there's still a little bit of recess left where the screws are recessed. So I made the holes actually smaller than the screw holes. That way it would create a nice smooth surface and no sharp edges around the edges of the wallet or the edges of the screw holes. Anyway, enough about that. So back to the coin. And I think I'll get this started now as the Edge of Tech has went live. So Jim and Caleb are live. I can't hear them. All right, here we go. LightBurn's going to take a little bit and rasterize these images, and it will start. All right, let me know if there's any feedback on my microphone. I do have some audio playing in the background. All right, here we go. I'm going to switch my headphones and I'll get rid of those, get rid of that background noise. All right, we should not have any feedback in the background. I have my headphones on. I just don't want to yell at the mic now. There we go. Okay. So hello, James, Chicago Bob, Jack's here, Chuck, Scott, Jim, Minnesota Maker, Jerry, Rich, Jeremy, Jeff. Let's see. Did I get Scott? I don't know. Minnesota Maker is here. John is here. Will I share my settings? Yes. It's for 120 watts. Jeremy is here. Okay, so how do I determine the number of passes? Basically, how deep I want it to go, and how do I know how deep it's going to go? Well, as I always say, you have to burn to learn. So I've done lots, have to do lots of practice and testing with each different laser that you get. That way, you know exactly, not exactly, let's say roughly how deep it's going to go at 256 passes, and then you know if you want it to go deeper, you'd use you'd use two. They say you want it to be really deep, and you know double it if you want it to be maybe kind of half as deep. Cut it in half depending on your material. But I wanted this one to run for a little while and engrave fairly deep, so I split the difference between 256 and 512 passes and landed at 384. But it's going to go pretty quick, so I might have to do another coin depending. Um, Probably should have doubled it and went 512, which I could always stop it and switch it to 512, which I'm thinking I might do. I think I am. So basically, what this is going to do is run every layer in the image twice. So it's just going to double it. I want a lot of brass dust left on the laser bed by the time I'm done. So yeah, we're going to double it. I will share my settings. and I'll share them in chat for you. Okay, I'm gonna. Sorry, I was typing. I'm gonna put these in chat. Speed 6154, power 95, interval 0.032, pulse of 500, frequency of 90. I'm running a 200mm lens. A 200mm lens on one 20-watt laser. Sorry, I'm listening to the HotMakes channel, and they were saying to switch over. They wanted you to be watching on the HotMakes channel instead of the EduTech channel, so that's what I did. Okay, and one thing I did want to mention for those settings is, let's see, yeah, they did. Yeah, one thing I did want to mention is I do use a cleaning pass. So every 20 passes, LightBurn will run the cleaning pass. Let's see, Ace Shooters Academy. I see your question. You had engraving coins a week ago. Had the settings good. Were you engraving graphics or were you engraving an image? You want to elaborate on what you were using and your laser and lens? Herb, thanks for joining. Robert, thanks for joining. Ace, thank you for joining. Awesome. Yeah, forgetting to focus is something that's really easy to do. So that could be what happened. Normally, that's the first thing I check. Do I have the right lens? Do I have the right focus? Try to change my lighting a little bit because with this laser, you can see the layers of brass being just peeled off, basically, layer by layer. All right, there we go. There's a little more light. And there's the cleaning pass that runs after every 20 passes. I just help keep the debris off. And I do have two fans running. They are the AC Infinity USB fans. I'm not using my air assist because it's loud, so I don't use it for live stream. Just watching this, I'm glad I changed it to 512. It's going to remove a lot of brass. You can already see the dust starting to accumulate. No, it will not. It just shows the clean path in. Basically, it works like this. It runs 20 passes, and the 21st pass is a cleaning pass. And it just does the cleaning pass according to what slice it's processing. So as this engraving progresses, you will notice that the cleaning path doesn't do the whole surface of the coin. Like it's not doing the whole uh, diameter of the coin. Sorry, I was listening to their screen for a second. So it's just going to end on whatever pass it is. If you had it set up that your cleaning pass multiple was the last pass, then it would be the cleaning pass. But otherwise, it's just going to end where it ends. But I don't leave it with just the. I wouldn't leave it with just that cleaning pass anyway. I have a couple passes that I run to help smooth out the surface, and then I have a pass. It's almost like polishing um, to smooth the surface out even more, but it doesn't really polish it. Um, and that's what I finished with. Then at that point, normally a brass brush is all that's needed to make it look pretty good. Then you can go more advanced with your brass black or wet tumble or whatever. I really want to change my camera angle, get like a straight down shot. Might just turn on another camera. That'd probably be easier. But after this is done, I can go through the setup of the graphic, and then I'll end up running this again. Just depends on how much talking the guys do on their show before they get into showing things being made. I'm already liking how it's going to turn out. You have to run. Rich has a question. You have to convert an image to 3D first. Will LightBurn do it? You need you need a grayscale image, the 3D grayscale, sometimes referred to as a height map or depth map, to get an accurate 3D engrave. Would you typically use same pulse frequency swapping between your 120 and 60? Just adjust speed and power. Typically, yes. the two lasers require the same frequency to obtain the max peak pulse. Let me rephrase that. So we have laser A and laser B. Laser A has its max peak pulse at a frequency of 80. Laser B has a max peak pulse at a frequency of 60. I would adjust the frequency in order to get the max peak pulse from each individual laser. Yeah, I think that made more sense. All right, I'm gonna let my other camera boot up. And the fiber laser throws out so much IR scatter that it makes using remote controls tough from the fiber laser running. You can tell it's reflecting everywhere. And there's another cleaning pass. And you'll see how it's not covering the whole engraving, that it skipped some of the parts that were already engraved. That's because it's just running on regular slate. And I'm actually running this engraving a little bit slower than I run some engravings. I was testing running slower out on that wallet, and I liked it, so decided to run this one at the same speed. I'll have to probably start this over. On the other side, probably not. Let's grab a new coin and run it again. I actually have a titanium coin. I might try it on titanium and see how that goes. Won't run it quite as hot as brass. And I need to order some more brass coins from my favorite brass coin supplier. Is my mic breaking up? Is the audio not up to par? If anybody wants to, Jeremy says yes. Anyone else? It could be the noise cancellation. I'm going to turn off the noise cancellation in StreamYard and see what happens. So let me know if that's any better. I just turned off StreamYard's noise cancellation. Is this any better? I just adjusted StreamYard. Testing 1, 2, 3. Man, it's hard to watch a stream or video if the audio sucks. So I definitely don't want to have terrible audio. It is better now. That's good. It must have been StreamYard's background noise cancellation. Okay. Okay. I can switch to a different microphone and try different background noise reduction settings and see what happens. This is normally my good mic that I don't have any issues with. Rich, thank you so much. You did not have to do that. I greatly appreciate it. That means a hell of a lot. Thank you. Jeremy, is it sounding any better yet? Or anyone else? Hopefully it stays better. Sorry about that. Thanks for letting me know, Jeremy. I appreciate it. So hopefully this coin is centered up. What I did, since I'm using an old piece of aluminum, is I basically just kind of engraved out the area where the coin should go. And you can see it right at the base of the coin, just a little white area around the base. And then just plopped it down in there and hope that that was lined up. Yeah, based on the flow of their show, I'm gonna end up running this again. It's gonna finish probably before they even get to their hot mix. But you can see what's in the middle. Now that you can see what's in the middle, maybe I'll just show you on screen exactly what this is. All right, that is what it is. So that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. So I took that 3D grayscale and then took the HotMakes logo and combined them in Illustrator. And I made the HotMakes three different shades of gray so that it would engrave at three different heights or depths, however you want to phrase it. All right, and I'm going to bring up my favorite coin supplier. You go to laserableitems.com. This is owned by Jeff Stockton, and he has a bunch of coins, and they're nice coins. So his coins are very nice. And then let me see if I can show you. Trying to figure out where he had them. But he actually has my focal sticks and a link to my air assist kit on here somewhere, which is really cool of him. But anyway, laserableitems.com. That's who I recommend. I'm sending a message to tell him I'm promoing his shop. Give me 1 second here. We'll find him. There, I sent him a message. Maybe he'll hop in chat. Let's see. LightBurn is saying actually, this will run for a decent amount of time. LightBurn's saying about quarter of the way done. However, when doing a 3D slice, if you've never done it before, it actually gets faster as it progresses along because the layers are smaller. Like the surface area to be engraved actually gets smaller with every slice. So you can imagine that, 3D printing, you're adding layers. And here we're taking away layers and we're starting with the lightest shades of gray first. And then as it gets progresses through the darker layers, you have less darker colors during the darker shades during the progression. So the engrave actually gets faster. It might say 24% of the way done, but that's basically through 24% of the layers. However, time wise, it's not an exact estimate because each layer is going to go faster as it progresses. If that makes sense to you. So if you do any image adjustment before you engrave, if you make it darker by decreasing the brightness, you can make your engrave take longer because you have more black layers and more darker areas to engrave. There's a lot of black areas on this particular graphic, if you remember what it looked like, there's black around the HotMakes and then all the negative space around the star. And I set that as all black so that it would go much deeper than the actual graphic. That way it would stand out. It would set it apart. So it looks like it's popping up off of the coin. You set a picture up in grayscale and AI. AI is not really good for manipulating photos. If I was going to try to convert something to grayscale, I would use Photoshop or similar program. Then you can change the color profile with that within the image. The reason I used Adobe Illustrator today was I knew that I could take that vector, assign it a different grayscale for each layer, to a different shade, and then I could group it with the existing grayscale photo and export it out of Adobe Illustrator as a 300 DPI PNG file that I then imported into LightBurn. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, my other camera is up. Let me see if I can get a different angle here. Now I'm not really happy with that view. Let me try differently. I'll probably just wait till I run this again, actually. Because what I'll end up doing is knocking it into the laser or knocking it out of point out of alignment. Murphy's Livestream law, anything that can go wrong will. So I don't want to add to that. Roger's here. How's it going, Roger? Hey, I'm going to, for anybody that just joined, show you the image of what is being engraved at the moment. So that is what it's going to look like when it is finished. And you can tell LightBurn was up because it was maximized, and that's when the flickers happen. But when I minimize it, the flicker goes away. It's crazy. I was just so tired yesterday. I like there's just no way I could live stream and try to be coherent and explain things to people. Anyone have any more questions? Higher Q pulse, will that make it smoother? Not necessarily. I'm basically running at max power and I have to adjust my speed and accordingly. Otherwise, you can have pitting show up and burning. I normally like to run my coins and brass at max peak pulse, max power, and then adjust the frequency to the max peak pulse. Mike's asking, does black and white burn the same as a grayscale image? Well, that's going to depend on what you're wanting to do with the image. Are you wanting to do a 3D slice for 3D engraving, or are you wanting to just engrave the photo? Because if you are wanting a 3D engraving, the image needs to be prepped as a 3D grayscale. So it has to have the depth basically coded into the image. There's a website, SEL to PNG, that's the number two. It will take an STL and convert it to a PNG grayscale with the depth of the STL encoded into grayscale using the 256 layers of gray. So to get an adequate 3D engraving, the image has to be prepared for 3D engraving. I think I'm happy with how the hot mix in the center is turning out. I could have adjusted um, the shade of the gray in Adobe Illustrator and made it darker or lighter, and therefore it would have engraved either more shallow or deeper. But I think that's pretty good because you can tell that it's in a few different layers. How long will it take to do a brass coin, and what machine are you using? Thanks for joining 3D Shorts. Um, there are a lot of factors that will affect the engraved time of a coin. Are you trying to do a 3D slice coin? Are you doing a multi-layer coin, or just a simple graphic, or just one layer? That will greatly affect the time. And I'm using a 120-watt JTT fiber laser. For example, this is a 3D engraving and it has a lot of black in it in the grayscale. So that's going to take longer than if this image was prepped so that the black was non-existent. And when engraving a grayscale, just think black takes longer. So if you darken the image, it's going to take longer to run. So you can increase your engrave time just by decreasing the brightness of an image. So far, this has been running about 45 minutes, something like that. But I ended up stopping it and restarting it, doubled the amount of passes I was running to make it really a really deep engrave. So let's say we're doing this engrave and you see that, wow, that was way too many passes. It's going to go too deep and it's going to burn through the coin. You could actually stop it right now and then adjust the number of passes in your settings and then use LightBurn's preview function, scrub forward to right about the, try to guess at the layer where you left off, and then you can start the job on the laser from there and continue it and let the layers run with less passes, or you can adjust your settings so it's not removing as much material per pass. But either way, you can try to salvage a project just by stopping it and restarting in the middle of the job. Martin's asking if you go deeper, do you have to refocus? I am using a 200 millimeter lens, which has a longer depth of focus than, say, a 110 or a 150. So, really, I just focus maybe a millimeter below the surface of the coin, and probably not even a millimeter. It's probably dead on top. Yeah, I did. I focused this one right to the very top of the coin, and it stays in focus deep enough that I don't need to adjust it. So I don't need to do any live focusing. If I was using my 150 lens, I would pay attention, and about halfway through, I would drop it like a millimeter or so. Pretty soon, it's going to have all the gray layers, all the shades of gray layers done, and it's just going to be the solid black, and then it's just going to hammer the solid black areas until it's finished. So it's really going to make everything look like it's popping right out of that coin. Mike has an interesting question. On his diode laser, when he does a photo, he has to use a micro SD card because when he uses the USB, it slows down too much or there's high detail. You get the same issue with the fiber. No, I do not, and 'cause you can't use a micro SD with fiber. It's USB only. But I haven't heard that with the diode. What diode are you using? It's making me sound like it might be a USB cable issue. I've done high detailed photos on my diode and I haven't noticed that problem. All right, here's the image. I'll pull that up for you. Yeah, here, buddy. Thanks for joining. There is the 3D grayscale I am using. I did modify it in Adobe Illustrator to add the HotMakes logo and exported that out as a PNG. Let me minimize LightBurn and stop the flickering. All right, I'm going to try to adjust this camera to get more straight on. There, hopefully that's a little better angle. The tumbler I'm using, John's asking what is the brand of tumbler that I use. It is one from Amazon. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, that is the tumbler that I use. It's reasonably priced and it does a good job. But there are many like it. If you search KT 2000, you might find some that cost less, but I think they're probably all made in the same factory, just have different branding. Tell you uh, what I do want to tell you guys about. I have found a supplier for business cards that come in red, blue, rose gold, and green, as well as black. But these are thick, high quality business cards. I'm really impressed with them. I just engraved all the blue and red that I had today on one side, and then I'm going to save the second side for an episode I'm going to try and film tomorrow. But these things are nice, and it's nice to have something other than black. I'll drop that link in the chat so you guys can check that out. Yeah, I think I'll pull it up on screen, then drop the link. All right, here is the business card. But you can see where I ordered more today. They have black, blue, green, rose gold, and red. They're not cheap. They're 34 cents each. But I wanted some business cards that would stand out when I go to the International Sign Expo here in a couple of weeks with Rich, LA Hobby Guy. So I went with those cards and ordered the two colors just to test them out, the red and the blue. And I'm very impressed. So I went with no, I didn't order black. I have plenty of black. But I went with the other four colors today. Probably be helpful if I actually showed one to you. Just show those to you. All right, so there's a blue, and then just a regular white engraved on it. If they're not flimsy, so if I try to flex that, it's pretty thick. And the blue has like the metallic finish to it, and the red is just like flat, just a glossy red paint. If you're looking for some different business cards to check out, I do recommend those for sure. What else would you all like to talk about? I'm watching this engrave and trying to see when it just switches over to only black that's in each layer. And it's getting close. I can get various shades of gray on the business cards. I would end up with a basically a dark gray On aluminum, you can get it's not black, but a really dark mark. When you do that, you're really hammering that aluminum and heating it up. And I don't even these thicker cards won't hold up to that amount of heat. And it's starting to look like it's not quite doing. Yeah, it might be. Might just be doing only the black at this point. What I'm going to end up doing is stopping this and then running a second one. It helps watching this through the camera because you can really see where it's still hitting. You can see it's still hitting some of those areas between the points of the star that's closer to the circle. See where it's lighter. But overall, it's looking pretty good. Hey, new channel member. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I have time. Can I show how the jigs for the business cards are used on the MK2? Yes, I can show that. Thinking after the next cleaning pass, I might just call it and then run my own cleaning pass, and then get ready to start another one. If there's enough depth, I might just do this on the backside. Enough grass left, that is. You can see from that angle as the laser is moving across from right to left, that there's a line, and you can see it as it's moving down. There's a line where the brass is being removed. You can see it with each layer as the laser's passing over it. Definitely have some good depth. I think I'm just going to go ahead and stop this, and then possibly start it on the other side. I'll just grab another point. And what I'll end up doing is sending this to Jim at Edge of Tech and let him give it away or do whatever he wants with it. All right, I'm going to time this and stop it now. That's not too bad. Now let's bring back in. Sorry, LightBurn's going to flash on you a little bit. or LightBurn's causing my camera to flash on you. I'm sorry. All right. So this is one of my light cleaning path settings. Hey, Sergio's here. Thanks for joining, Sergio. Okay. So now what I did is just made a circle, placed it over the graphic, and I'm just running the clean path on the whole surface. I'm not using the image to run what is it? Grayscale with the power map and all that. It's just a straight clean pass. Now I'm going to get a setting here. Let's see if we can make this a little lighter, a little shinier. Okay. All right. This will probably be the last of my clean passes, and then I'll hit it with a brass brush and see how it looks. There it is, straight off of the laser. You can see definitely have some depth there, a lot of depth. Try to get you a different angle in there. If it stays in focus. There, that's and I dropped it. All right, let's try this again. There we go. Now you can really see the depth, especially in that center ring. I have lost my brass brush. Well, hold on a second. I have 100 brass brushes and can never find any of them. Let me just give it a quick brushing and then show it to you again. Just the brass brush. So I'm doing is going to make this look much better. There, just the brass brush, and it already looks pretty shiny. So I think I'll flip it over and do the other side. Get LightBurn up here. Sorry about this stupid thing. I'm going to rerun cleaning the aluminum plate. You can see there, and then I'm going to place my coin right in that space. As soon as that finishes, then I'll place the coin. All right, now let me get the coin over here. And that is a handy way to line up your coins. All right, I'm going to change this back to 384 passes, and we'll see how it does. And we'll get ready and get this started. All right, let me frame it one more time. All right, I think should be good. That looks pretty good. And sorry to run the same thing twice, but they're just now getting to putting up hot bakes on the show. All right, LightBurn is rasterizing. As soon as it gets done, I'll minimize that. Come on. I think that's going to look pretty good. Okay. So here we go. All right, Jerry, you did just a whole lot. Just a little bit of brass brushing, finishing up the next coin. I'm going to start it again. Hopefully, they might grab that and show it. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that wallet turns out. I think I'm going to wet tumble it. I don't, I don't know. I'm still debating. Anyone have any thoughts? Should I wet tumble that wallet or should I use some brass black and then polish it, like some steel wool or something like that? I am running a 120-watt JPT fiber laser. CNC is something I don't have yet. I don't have time or space. All right, looks like they'll be bringing up my stream on their stream here shortly, probably after the HotMakes logo starts to show up. So that's cool. Oh, Sergio, we try to do some deep engraving with Rich. Is what do you have, a 30-watt? And just for what we want to accomplish, we were having trouble. It can be done. It just takes a while, and it's not going to get as deep. But you can use a 30. I was just able to start testing the 20-watt G2 Cloud. There, that 20-watt fiber laser that I have. Just able to start testing it with LightBurn a few days ago. So what I'm going to do is try some 3D engraving with the 20-watt to see if it's even possible. So I will be doing that soon. Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate that. I do have some slate coasters. I can 3D slice a slate coaster. I'm not quite sure my settings for the 120 watt, but I'm I'm confident in my guesses. Yeah, I could do that afterwards for sure. Uh, Jeff Stockton got back to me. He's driving. If he gets home in time, he'll stop by and chat. You can see how the H and the T and the makes were different shades of gray. See how they haven't started to make it into the engraving yet. Here, once you runs a paint pass, you'll see that the flame that makes up the O and hot has not even started appearing. And whoops, and there's what it looks like. So that is the shading that I use on those so that they would be a different depth. Right? You don't want to see me. Is the Kita that much better than the Harbor Freight Bower? Said much better. Does it just have more torque, running more amps? All right, yeah, probably all those things. So How about in the comments, you guys leave any ideas you have that would make for a fun live stream, whether it's what is being engraved, what material, what project, or anything to make a live stream better and more fun and enjoyable for the viewers. But you can see that the part of the O, the main flame is taking shape, and then the darker area is still getting passed over by the laser and having more carved out of it. There, that's a better shot right there with after that cleaning pass. That little center accent on the flame goes a bit deeper than just the flame itself. Jeff, we have sheep. We could do some sheep yoga. I can go have my I can have my wife go get one of the lambs and bring one in if you want to see one. She can try to have it climb on top of me, I guess. But before that, I'd want to put on a Tyvek suit because those things do nothing but pee and poop. Hula dancing with a live alpaca. Who's the one hula dancing? Me or the alpaca? Or both? Hey, Kenny's here. How's it going, Kenny? I'm just wondering, Jeremy, if it's even possible to train an alpaca to hula dance. That is a challenge. Well, anybody have any other ideas besides uh, hula dancing animals? Personally, since Jeremy thought of it, Jeremy should be the one hula dancing on the live stream. Jeremy might have to check your insurance policy. You might throw a hip out of place shaking it with the hula dancing. Okay, so Jeremy's saying that as soon as the weather warms up, he will do the hula dancing for us. So let's say July 1st is the deadline. There you go, midsummer could be perfect climate, and then you can start your hula dancing. No, you can't wear a costume. Just your hula dancing attire. I'm thirsty. Somebody give me a drink. Water's good. You did a Saturday Night Fever dance, Kenny? I wasn't aware of that. Maybe we can get Rich to do a hula dance. This one's looking pretty good. Even with the lower passes, it's still going. It's not going to be near as deep, but it's looking good. Is a baby shark dance? Man, I just have a hard time seeing Rich at a disco. It'd be fun though. Definitely. Jerry, the twins are in the way, huh? That's not good. Yeah, I like to go out when I was younger too. That was shortly after I hit 30. I think I just realized I didn't like going out and fighting with all the people. Oh my gosh, Jeremy, that's hilarious. Okay, Jeremy, I'm gonna have to show this off. You know, Jeremy was talking about the hula dancing alpaca. You got to see this. That is a hula dancing alpaca. It's beautiful. That was excellent, Jeremy. Thanks for hanging out, Jeff. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jim, for the call out. I appreciate that. Harry, it looks like the audio issue was StreamYard's noise cancellation function. Turn that off and it improved. Been kind of listening to the HotMakes stream. I don't know if they came over here to take a peek at this yet or not. I don't think so, but I might have missed it. Then again, you can see the cleaning pass doesn't cover the previously engraved areas. Jeremy just sent me another picture. Oh, it's hilarious. That's funny. I'm gonna save that one. I'm not gonna show it. That picture should probably be engraved on steel during an episode of the LMR. That would be perfect. Yeah, that was awesome. No, powered Z does not. You do not plug that into your rotary. That's a separate plug. It should have cord. Add some cords leading up to the. Should be in the cord bundle that's leading up to the galvo head. It has the plug for the motorized Z. Shut down for 3 months for showing a space thing. Oh, a space pew pew? For real? No, I did not hear that. That's insane. Wow, that's amazing, Jeremy or Jerry. That is terrible. I'm assuming it was something 3D printed. That's crazy. Wow, it's just terrible. Sorry, guys. They showed the coin being engraved on the HotMakes and were asking me some questions that I answered in chat. So I was trying to monitor that and pay attention to you guys, and then got distracted. That's easy to do, then. As soon as this finishes, well, since they already showed it, I do not need to keep this up on screen. So let me answer um, Grant. The what was the name that had the question? Jeffrey. Jeffrey had the question. Now I remember. Got it. All right, Jeffrey, let me switch over here. Jeffrey, I don't know where my um, business card jigs are for the jig table. It should have been right over there, but they're not. I'm live streaming on Rumble. I always go to both YouTube and Rumble. That way, if something happens, I always have the backup on Rumble. It's just probably good practice at this point. All right. I got to find those jigs. I don't know what I did with them. Go back to the phone for a second. Well, Jeffrey, I'm sorry to say that I do not know where my business card jigs went to for the laserMATIC jig table. But I did just see you sent me an email, so I'll get back to you in that email about that. There's something else somebody wanted to see or had a question about. I can always switch over to something else. Anyone? Anyone? I'll pull something else here. Oh, there we go. All right, there's my Rumble channel. And you can see right here it shows live. So all the lives have went over there. And I used to have episodes automatically import into Rumble, but then YouTube decided to be meanies and turn that feature off. Now I have to work on downloading all the YouTube episodes, re-uploading them to Rumble, and it's going to take a while. So I still need to get to that. 3D slice on slate. That's what the other one was. See, let me, instead of staring at me while I'm looking through a couple of file folders, I'll put the coin back. Let's see. Trying to think what would be good on slate. All right, I have an idea. Yeah, once this is done, I'll bring out the unicorn. I don't know if I have a unicorn. All right. Anyone have the votes for what I do on Slate? Somebody said unicorn. Just throw something out, and I'll see if I can find something close to it that I have in my library of grayscales. So far, this coin's looking good, and it's not engraving a hole through it yet where the HotMakes is located or the outer edges of the coin. So that's a good thing. While you're watching this, I'm going to go grab a slate coaster. Okay, I have something else I was going to show you. If you're watching the Laser Maker Realm live stream on Saturday, you know that I engraved this board. I've got two coats of Rust-Oleum triple thick glaze on it, and a nice coat of um, Minwax gunstock stain. So it's gunstock, and a couple more coats of triple thick, and this thing's gonna look nice, really nice. I'm very happy with how this turned out. The stain really brought out the grain in this pop-up. I'm a big fan of the gunstock. That was pretty exciting to make that big sign, and then I decided to make another one, and then I made another one that's a little bit smaller. First one is for my wife, and then the other two I just made, and I'll figure out where they're going to go. Here's a flake twister I have, nice round one. All right. All right. Kenny found the power Z plug on the side of his laser. Good. Definitely need that. Gun stock looks good on everything. Uh, you can't go wrong with it. But if you're stuck on like, what thing do I need? Go with gun stock. Okie dokie. Gotta be getting close. However, I could let that run and start up the slate on the 60 watt. You could always do that. Let's see, unicorn. That's the only suggestion we have so far. We get a new LightBurn window open. And do that. Like that. Have the 150 millimeter lens on the Monport right now. Let's see if I can get that in there. Telling you, remote controls and fire lasers did not get along. Right up on top of this thing. All right. As long as I stay right here, I won't block the camera here. Using the rotary out of the way. Just got it down. How you see the Monport here. Watching it on the screen. Thing I'm going to do is focus so I don't forget. And then I'm going to just hit the button one more time since that's the 150 lens. They won't have as deep of a focal range. Kenny, I did not get the 10K that you sent. I was hoping you would just Zell that over. That would have been great. If anybody wants to Zell me 10K, since Kenny hasn't done it yet, that'll be fine. And I didn't see any suggestions on what to 3D engrave, so I think I might go with what I've done before on Slate. There's something similar, just a nice round graphic and cover up most of the Slate itself. There we go. I think we are working that. Trying to get the second instance of LightBurn communicating with the second fiber laser. The alpaca is not in 3D engraving format, or I would HPL custom. I might have a unicorn. I don't think I have an alpaca. Let's see. I'll check in on the coin while I'm looking. Let's see. None of these have names, so can't search them by what they're called. I just passed. What are the things called that have the body of a horse and the waist up of a man? Why can I not think of that? Minotaur. Thank you, Frank. I thought it's going to drive me nuts. See anything I like in there? You guys like Celtic designs? Got some good Celtic designs. Blue on Citation. Centaur. Okay. Whichever. Close enough. What's up, Rich? How's it going tonight? He heard us talking about it. All right, here, let me put this on screen. What do you think of this to do on a slate coaster? I think that would be an acceptable design. Yeah. What I want to do is, instead of doing 256 passes, I'm going to probably drop this down and do a little less, just because I don't want to be here all night, basically. These were settings from a different laser. Probably with this mod port, I have my timing dialed in. Sorry, it's flickering because I have LightBurn up. I'm going to run I think every other path. 128. Line interval, I'm going to drop it down because it's 150 lim. Drop that down there. P plus 500, speed 6,000, 95, frequency 60 watt. That'll be 80 in the frequency. And that should get a decent result. You want to adjust the image. Oh, I see what I did there. 0.075. Then I'm going to bump the contrast up to 5 and turn the brightness down. Because 3 looks good. I'm just eyeballing it. Let's go through this quick. 0.075. All right. Measure this coaster. I'm going to go with 80 millimeters. And we're going to frame. Right, there's being framed. This makes a lot of dust, so let me go get my exhaust vent. Pulled up beside it. That will want to go everywhere. All right, let's get this started. Finish factorizing. What man is this? You pretty much already saw the coin, but I could bring that camera back over. Bring that camera over to the slate and get a better angle for you. Yeah, that should be in focus. Slate engraves really fast. Too many passes, too much power, and you can just plow right through it pretty quickly. I was hoping I didn't overdo it with this guest, but we'll see. You can see why you want to have a fan blowing, get all that dust off of there. But this won't be near as deep, and it'll run fairly quick. And after this, I'll have to wrap the stream up because I'm being called by the wife and kids. Frank, I did engrave denim with a diode, but it's been so long ago that I can't remember any settings or anything about it. But I appreciate everybody hanging out. Mainly was just running the coins to hopefully have it make an appearance on HotMakes, and it did, so that was a success. And now we get some bonus footage of some slate. And this is running on the 60 watt Monfort with the JPT laser source. Oh, you're welcome, Bill. Hopefully that helps everybody out. I was just thought that would be a cool file for everybody to have and hopefully be useful. And then I'm going to do a video on how to use those. So if you get stuck or need any advice, I'll have a video up shortly. Steve, what was Martin O'Donnell's idea? What did I miss something? What about doing the Earth symbol from Stargate on a coin with a mini Stargate as the background? That is a good idea. Jeremy, you should make that image in not AI Adobe Illustrator, but the other AI. What I really want to see, you can see the 4 little dots are starting to show up. I want to see how the wood grain does. And granted, I'm not running 256 passes, but we still should get some detail out of it. If you look at the laser light reflecting off the sides of those 4 pieces of the cross, you can see the amount of depth that we've achieved already. Good night, Kenny. Thanks for stopping by. Talk to you later. I'm starting to see the dots show up around the perimeter of the image. If I wasn't pressed for time, I would have probably tightened my line spacing up a little bit and maybe ran another, probably split the difference, maybe about 180 passes, just to squeeze some more depth and detail out of it, but it's not looking too bad. All right, I'm checking Messenger, Jeremy. Give me a second. That's pretty cool. You're going to engrave a photo of that. You'd have if it was a top-down perspective, that would look really neat. All right, I got that file, Rich. That's something I'll have to put that together. Try to make one of those. Starting to see the wood grain coming out. That's gonna look nice. So this poster is 75% done. And the main reason it went so much faster than that smaller coin is line spacing. This will be done very soon, and then I can get upstairs. Yeah, I saw that, Rich. Looking forward to tinkering around with that one. It was a good idea. The amount of dust that engraving slate produces is just insane. Rich, thank you so much. I appreciate that. You did not have to do that, but I greatly appreciate it. Oh, Bill, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well this evening. I'm just going to go quickly back to LightBurn and show you again the image so you can fix the image before this thing gets finished. We're starting to see the lines of the slabs of wood. And I'm fairly certain I could have brought out more detail with a tighter line space and running some more passes. But for what it is, it's looking good. You'll just have to hit those darker layers. Right now, we are 17 minutes into this coaster, 83% done. So even if it took a little longer to engrave to bring out a little more detail, it wouldn't be that much longer. If you look at the crosses now and the light from the laser reflecting off of them, you can really see the amount of depth we have at this point. This thing will be done in probably maybe 3 minutes. Yeah, triple thick would be the stuff. Rich, I'll have to show. I'll pull my sign up on camera here real quick. Have 2 coats of triple thick on this. I'm gonna do 2 more tomorrow. Triple thick is the stuff. Here's the coin from earlier. Almost done. The further it progresses into your 3D engraving, the less time each layer takes. Because you actually have less. Like you can see now, you have less that's actually being hit with the laser. So at that point, you're just limited to what your jump speed is. Thank you, John. Yeah, Jack, man. Any slate and stone and stuff be hitting with the fiber laser just goes everywhere. Oh wow. Texas Snake Stomper, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. I greatly appreciate that. Hope you are doing well this evening. All right, we are at 96%, so just a few more passes and this is done. I'll show it to you and then we'll call it a night. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. It means a lot to have you folks hanging out with me this evening. I hope everyone has a great night and an even better Tuesday. Yeah, it probably would have been more fun if I wasn't basically doing this to have the coin show up on HotMakes. I would have put more thought into keeping you guys entertained. But I'm glad you found it entertaining nonetheless. That's awesome. Wow, thank you so much. A new channel member and a donation. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, Texas Snake Stomper. I hope you're wearing boots when you're doing that. Make sure you click your bell for your notifications. Set it to all. That way, if I do go live, you at least get a notification. YouTube likes to mess around with those sometimes. And we are, I think, just about done. And there we go. Switch over to a different camera. There. Blew the dust off of that. So the wood grain did turn out very well. Probably could have brought out some more detail with a tighter line space, but you can see the knots in the wood, like here and here and here. It looks really cool. That's not bad for just guessing at settings to make this turn out good, but not go too deep that it affects the integrity of the slate. So it can still be used as a coaster. I'm very happy with that. All right. And that's all I have, folks. I'm going to go get with the family, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good night.